It's a proud privilege and honor to welcome each one of you on behalf of Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council, on behalf of Dr. Raja Rao Pagdipalli and Professor Dr. Caroline. It's a beautiful moment wherein like-minded people from all over the world have gathered together to deliberate on such a very important topic, wherein we are speaking about building resilient infrastructure, promoting sustainable industrialization, and fostering innovation. Yes, we are on the 9th day of World Peace Summit with SDG Goal 9. I, Dr. Seema Negi, along with my co-moderator, Dr. Aruna Vatkar, Managing Director, Harvest Educational Transformation Service, and the founder of NGO Heads Pratishtha India, a hardcore educationist and a social worker, are here to host this event today. And before I begin, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to the organizers, Dr. Raja Rao Pagdipalli and Professor Caroline, for such a mindful initiative. And with this, I hand over this virtual stage to my co-moderator, Dr. Aruna Vatkar, to please take it forward.
Thank you, Dr. Seema, for this wonderful introduction and a warm welcome for all the delegates present here. Namaste, good morning and good afternoon. And yes, my co-host to introduce me, Dr. Seema Negi, who is the Global Goodwill Ambassador, Director, Principal, Sanjivani World School, and a social activist. And yes, thank you so much, Dr. Seema Negi. I will take it on from here. Thank you so much. And yes, as Dr. Seema said, we are on the 9th day of the summit, and we all are here to share the awareness and know more about each sustainable development goals aiming to 2030. So yes, as to start away, we have successfully finished 8 sustainable development sessions and the awareness of these goals. And today we are on the 9th sustainable development goal, which is the industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Now I call upon, I call upon Professor Dr. V.J. Caroline, who will share about Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council and Life Foundation, about what is their motive and objective. Professor Dr. Caroline, stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to all the wonderful dignitaries and lovely ladies, especially my loving moderators who is taking up the program in a great way. Namaste to all from India. I'm Dr. V.J. Caroline, Managing Director of Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council. As we have taking up this summit, World Peace Summit, and also SDG, Sustainable Development Goals from 1 to 17, and we have successfully completed successfully completed 8 Sustainable Development Goals and stepped into 9 Sustainable Goal. We are discussing and going to have excellent reviews, solutions for the issues of the Sustainable Development Goal 9, which has to be established and accomplished, which has to be accomplished by 2030. So United Nations has set up, and it is a responsibility of every individual. And I would like to say a few lines about Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council, which has been registered under the Act of Article 8. And we mainly concentrate and focus on the peace and integrity and cultural exchange. We concentrate on research and development. We concentrate on the education. We mainly focus on women and girl children. And our concentration is also on weaker sections and population below poverty line. Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council has 2 sister organizations under its umbrella. Number 1 is Telangana Kala Parishad, which is led by Dr. Raja Rao Pagdipalli, and the Life Foundation is led by Dr. V.J. Caroline. It's me. Telangana Kala Parishad mainly focus on, as I said earlier, our objectives mainly on weaker section, girl and women, So he focuses, the Telangana Kala Parishad mainly focuses on weaker sections and daily labor and farmers. So many campaigns has taken by Telangana Kala Parishad, led by Dr. Rajarao Pagdipalli, and also the issues, problems, burning problems taken to the government of India, and he supported and shown the solidarity to the farmers. So in this way, Telangana Kala Parishad is doing a great service to the society and moving ahead to support many. And the Life Foundation, the main center of Life Foundation, that is the focus, as we said, as our objective, we concentrate much on education and self-sustainable development. So we have set up 2 tailoring centers in the slum, which is of 500 acres of slum. So the Life Foundation adopted the slum and setting up the tailoring centers as a pilot project. As a pilot project, we have taken up a tailoring center and study centers in the slum. We want to impart education to the children who are under poverty line, and also women who are suffering a lot with financial lackness. So very soon we are going to set up beauty parlor and also fashion and design. In this way, we want to empower women and can be on their self-sufficient and support their family and also children to have good education. So study centers mainly focus on standards, good standards of education. We are trying to impart good education. Yes, and we have recruited teachers, and they are teaching the vulnerable girl and boy children. So there is no disparity. Girls and boys are taken into the institution, and we are imparting quality education for both the gender. So in this way, we want to make the slum to be empowered, and they will not be transformed into evil or negative thoughts, society or citizens who ruin the peacefulness of the nation. So it is like a contagious, definitely negative or positive will be conveyed. So we want to make them to be a positive thinking and responsible future citizens of India. In this way, we are moving ahead. And now Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council is mainly focusing on peace. So peace within the individual and peace in the nation. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Dr. Vatka, please unmute yourself.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vijay Caroline, and I'm so glad that you are into actions taken for the well-being and for the societal communities to upgrade them, and it is a commendable job. Thank you so much for giving the information here. Now I call upon Dr. Raja Rao to let us know about the objective of conducting the World Peace Summit. Over to you, Dr. Raja Rao.
It's a great day. It's a 9th day. Sustainable development for 9th day, right? Really, our journey is a remarkable journey. So I'm here to welcome you all to the 9th day of World Peace Summit. A splendid journey, day by day. It's getting more and more energetic. Really, today we have some eminent speakers. Really, we are honored. Because actually, whoever the guests that we invited in the last moment, they're supposed to postpone. In the last moment, in the midnight, we are able to find some beautiful gems of our nation to be invited, and probably the guests from other nations also join today. So it's going to be, once again, a splendid program today. So I invite all of the chief guests. Really, thank you so much. Because of your presence, the program is going to be next level. And I also thank our moderator and so we are to say thanks. I know how the program was because when you both are there. So certainly it goes like right path. Thank you so much. And on 9th day, I again accepting that it's a World Peace Summit appreciated by nearly 25 international universities, international research centers, international organizations, endless governors, chief ministers, and even our central ministers, government of India appreciated this World Peace Summit initiative. And many more to come after completion of the summit. We are going to pay a visit to already earlier we visited so many states by taking the invitations from government of India and various state governments. Again, we are going to visit so many states and our central government of India to execute all these sustainable development goals. And we are planning to take the help of international universities in the form of collaboration to execute all these sustainable development goals. Really, surely we have after the completion of this World Peace Summit, we have a lot to do. So I will assure you that once again, this World Peace Summit going to get a place in the history of the world. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Raja Rao, for the warm welcome to all the delegates. And let us now move on to a wonderful program for the evening to listen to what our eminent speakers have in store for us as a takeaway for the day. What pleases me the most is that sustainable development is on almost everybody's agenda nowadays. And yes, we all have to think about it. So as we know that industry, innovation, and infrastructure includes what more we can do to increase the networks, companies, industries, and startups that need growth in terms of all the elements of traditional infrastructure and innovations. Networks like roads, bridges, railways, transit, infrastructure such as roads, bridges, waste management, telecommunication equipment, yes, power and energy industry. So each and every other few types of infrastructure and the startup that we are going to talk about and know more about. So today, going to the first guest speaker, our chief guest, let me call upon our chief guest, Dr. T.P. Sasikumar, former Deputy Director, Director General of Security, Cabinet Secretariat, New Delhi, Scientist, Government of India, Space Department. Over to you, Dr. T.P. Sasirao. Thank you so much. We are eager to listen to you. Thank you.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram to all of you. We are all here under the umbrella of Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council. On the 9th day, discussing about various SDGs, and today it is World. How the United Nations want this world to have a sustenance in the industry, innovation, and infrastructure. A beautiful initiative. I am here because Dr. Raja Rao Pagdipalli, though I have messaged him and tried to be in contact a few months back, I think today he came to me to put me on this platform. I understood that it is because Dr. Mandal referred me to him. I know Dr. Seema, a few months back, we were on a platform and we had few discussions on the social issues and causes. Dr. Aruna is new to me. So I'm sure this is happening because of Dr. Caroline agreed for hosting this and putting me as part of this. If you ask me which part of SDG is important, I don't think anybody can answer a question like this, because when UNDP started long back, the United Nations wanted all the development to happen, everybody to be equal, everybody to be in equal stand footing. And that was a great hope. We have passed nearly 60, 70 years. And the new definition of development with the SDG started almost 7 years back. And we are discussing that to understand what is SDG and different goals and popularizing it, looking at it, what can be done. I'm sure another 8 more years will pass without happening much. Because if every country has its politics, United Nations has a bigger politics. And whenever there is the word development, exploitation is the other part of the coin. You cannot have development on one side and exploitation cannot happen. So if you look at 17 points, all the points are highly of concern. I'm talking from India, in the center of India. If we look towards south, we have Sri Lanka burning with the problems. Look towards west, we have Pakistan totally unstable politically. And east is also not very safe. China have a lot of problems by themselves. And therefore, when you look at SDGs indexing, though the greatest wellness programs like yoga, meditation, all these are which India boasts upon. We look at wellness index and happiness index of India is much, much worse than most of the other countries. So we don't know whether the meter and the scale is correct or the measurement is correct or the quantities are somewhere manipulated by somebody to look at world in a different manner. If your scale is wrong, I think every measurement goes wrong. No poverty was one of the greatest activity, even WTO, when India produces large wheat. Yesterday I was talking to somebody. When I went to US, I have seen a lot of Indian books. Mahatma Gandhi's books are array of almaras, full of books on Indian books, Indian printed books. I was wondering and asking somebody why America got a lot of Indian books. Is it that India is giving a lot of knowledge to America? And I found that a lot of wheat was sent from America to India. And we have to return with something else because WTO says that you have to send something back. And what we did is we printed a lot of books and sent it to them. In India, those books are not available, in fact, if you want. We have to buy it from America now. Right? And today what is happening, the wheat which comes to India, we have a lot of wheats. So what we do, we dump it in the Arabian Sea. And so that the fish can eat that and then we export the fish back to that country. Got it? This is what, I don't know how many of you who are very serious about sustainable development and all this have seen 2 movies, Cowspiracy and Seaspiracy. If you have not seen, watch that movie. It was released last year and beautiful. It talks about, they are interviewing a lot of people who are in the United Nations organization, who are in the seat of secretary level, assistant secretary level, deputy secretary level, and asking few questions. And they say, this is not in our agenda. Don't ask these questions. They don't even want to look at those questions. So when talk about clean water, clean sanitation, energy, I don't know whether that is different from industry, innovation and infrastructure. How can you have a sustainable city and communities living together without industry, innovation and infrastructure in place? How can you have a climate action when industries are not in tandem with them? So if you look at all the 17 compartments, which are all connected to same engine, it's only different compartments, but everybody is going into the same route. And what is that? They are all interlinked. And the direction is probably 3 directions. One is a social development, economic development, and environmental development. That has become the focus of SDG. On one hand, getting the goal targets may contribute in other part of the goal also to become realizable. Because if you have got good education, definitely innovation could become part of it. Because we believe in India, education is the portfolio of the goddess Saraswati. And innovation, research, is the portfolio for husband. Brahma. Our God system is very beautiful. Those who are not in India may not understand. We have husband and wife as gods, and wealth is there, action is the husband. Wealth is by Lakshmi, Vishnu is action. Education is Saraswati, and Brahma is for research. And meditation for Shiva, and energy, power for Shakti. So I'm sure all these are related. So sustainable development goal, if some of them get realized, I'm sure it impacts the other portions also. The targets are very high, and achieving them is not that simple, because we have another 8 more years to go. And if you look at the index in the last 1 or 2 years, there is a lot of statistics problems, because the graph is totally toppled because of the COVID pandemic. It was not as stated, as predicted. We wanted to be in the club of the 5 greatest nations. India was trying for that. Probably, if at all we achieve, it is by somebody else falling, not because India is great. Right? But one advantage for India when compared to all other great nations, either in population or in economy or in industrial growth or development or education, the average age of India is 29 today. Whereas America is almost close to 45, UK is 40, and China is 38.5 or something. So India has got a great path forward, because we are the largest number of youths and so powerful nation. The global manufacturing output, if you look at it, India has only 3% of the whole globe, whereas China has got almost close to 28, 29, I think. United States has got almost half of it, maybe around 17, I think. And maybe Germany and Japan is in between. So there are 5 nations who are the major. Then South Korea, Italy, and all is almost like Indian status. But if you look at, there is a large difference between China, United States in the 28 or 29 to 16 to 17, and the rest comes only less than 1 digit, 7.5 for Japan. So what is to be understood here? The natural resource is not being used by many people. The mechanization has not reached up to all the people, because a lot of transportation problems or the human power, most important problem. We had a great Swamiji who spoke in the United Nations Parliament of Religions. He said India has the biggest problem, that is Tushni Bhavam. Laziness is the biggest problem. And unless we make the people very active, I think the Global Innovation Index, India is in a very bad state. It is the 50th rank. Probably in the infrastructure development so far happened, there are many countries in the list. India is also struggling to happen. It is all like a chicken or egg first. Infrastructure development goes, innovation happens, industry happens. And when industry happens, your economic index will become better. Therefore, education becomes better. The communication becomes better. Connectivity becomes better. So India has a difficult problem because it is not the state, the central government, union government. The word central government itself is a bad word. It is not to be used. It says only the union government. The union government has only the control very less. Maybe the new changes which are happening, like a GST and all that, or maybe the World Economic Forum discussions are focusing towards what is going to happen, the 4th Industrial Revolution, in which India was a very strong stakeholder. So I think the SDG 9 cannot be discussed without referring to the World Economic Forum, wherein a lot of debates have happened. I am constantly following it. I gave at least a few lectures on the industry confederation and such institutions in different states to understand what can be done as part of infrastructure development. Probably we have a lot of products. The other day I went to one of the farms. There are 4 acres of tomato, but they have not taken it from the ground. They allowed that to be rotten there. The last pandemic for 1 year, probably I must have visited 10-20 farms. I've seen farmers don't want to transport it basically because the costs, one. More than that, the human capital which is to be used for making it to be in the palatable style, at least in a dabba which cannot make the tomato spoil, the cost is much higher than what can you imagine for selling the tomato. You may not be able to get the labor costs, right? I was driving at different parts of Telangana. I stay in Hyderabad. So I've seen most of the places this is the problem. And we got 2 rains in the last 2 weeks. All the small saplings what the people had, everything is drenched in water. We don't have good insurance for the farmers. And they don't even have mechanization for plowing their land also. They have to take it on rent. There is no government system to support. So I think the blah, blah, blah will not work. There has to be a confederation of people who work together with the farmers. I'm so happy that what is being done by the Vishwa Manava people with the right. Yesterday I was addressing the insurance people, 700 of them in number in Bombay. So where is the guarantee that everybody insure and the whole nation collapses? For example, many people would have insured all their properties, but the insurance company itself has gone into dust. What will happen? So we are talking about security, investment, infrastructure development when a powerful country is trying to bombard the other part of the world. So these are the things probably happened very recently. So we need to see the sustainable development goal in this light. I can add many more points, but I think it is not right on my part to extend more than this. Namaskaram, thank you, pranams, and best wishes to this initiative of discussing all this in detail. Thank you. Thanks a lot. God bless you all.
Dr. Vadkar, please unmute yourself.
There's some issue with I'm just muting it, but it's getting unmuted. Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. T.P. Sasirao. And it was a pleasure listening to you, where you really touched upon the real facts that we, as related to sustainable development goals, were equally important. Not 1 or 2 are important. Overall, all the 17 goals are equally important for us to achieve the development of a country or a nation. Very, very important. And how beautifully explained the relativity of our Indian gods and goddesses. Yes, that really, really makes, our Indian people will definitely connect to that. That was really good. So let us all, as our chief guest mentioned, let us all use more of natural resources, and the best part was, let us all be active and bring actions into ourselves. That is what he meant. And lovely listening to you. And now let me call upon our next chief guest, Dr. Akhilesh, scientist and innovator, 163 innovations and author of 13 books, chairman and founder, ASR Deep Group. Yes, Dr. Akhilesh, your stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Very warm welcome to all of you from India. Thanks to Dr. Raja Rao Pagdipalli, first of all, chairman of World Peace Summit and Royal Council, and Professor Dr. Vijay Caroline, president as well as organizers of SDG. It's a very beautiful program and innovative, you also said that. Myself, Dr. Akhilesh, is a scientist and chairman of SR Deep Group of Companies. I'm a first generation entrepreneur. Today, topic is very innovative, especially if you floated all these things to youths who just come out from their colleges or freshers, entrepreneurs. So just they have to enter into the industry. It is very nice. I will discuss today very basic information about the innovation and industry, and 5 industries I'm just discussing. It's upcoming industry, you say that. So the first of all, just a small snapshot, or you say that introduction. Every industry or college moves these days with R&D part. Okay, corporate R&D, we call it. Innovation and technological development are crucial drivers for competitiveness, job creation, and welfare. Innovation, when we are talking about innovation and technological development, are at the core of the economic growth. If you don't have an innovative thing in your hand, your innovations or the development will be stopped completely. Okay. At the core of the economic growth process and mark the evolution of the industry structure and countries.
May we request everyone to keep their mic on mute mode, please? Yes, sir, please continue.
So, which leads to the development of new capabilities across firms, and many displace previous knowledge what we have. The mechanism when we are talking about has drawn the attention on the previous roles, what we gone through, and determinants. Okay. To what extent this will give rise to a new approach when we are talking about a study of R&D and intellectual property rights, assets, is still a matter of debate every time, especially when we entered into the segment of manufacturing segment, especially because innovation comes directly to the manufacturing part, then it moves to the market. Innovation and industry dynamics are 2 sides of the same coin. Indeed, the rate and the direction, the technological changes, and determined by the specific characteristics of the industries and economic structure. It completely defined by the innovation, what kind of innovation and at what level of segment you touch. Fine. Like very few examples and live examples is the tire industry or the printing industry. They make a benchmark throughout the world. At the same time, the system at each point in time and by the technology is very specific changes they got it. The idea that changes is dominant technological system influences and the behavior of the entire economy. Or you say that it is vice versa also. Through the concept of techno-economic paradigm and is connected to supernative creative destruction. Like the ammunition industry, you see it across the world these days. Very special after the pandemic, we see it in Ukraine and Russia also. And when we are discussing about a very special issue after pandemic, you say that is against the background and drawing at the European Conference on Corporate R&D and Innovation. We called it Concrete DI. In 2017, the special issue focuses on 2 main aspects of innovation and industrial dynamics relationships over there. The first one is innovation and firms competitiveness. It's very important part. And the policies, what we make or the government will make, policies and firms innovations performance. These two aspects make a lot of difference. These two aspects make a lot of impact on the industry, whether it is any industry, power, in pharma industry, in media, everywhere. At this fast growing industrial revolution, we just discussed about 5 new innovative industry where we are working, or it is the top of the world these days. It is going on next 10 years. We are talking about that. Growing industry offers exciting opportunities for both startups and large multinational corporations. By gaining transactions in up and coming industries, corporations can outmaneuver their competitors and deliver huge profits. When we entered into the corporate segment, they comes at a very large scale and provide a huge job opportunities as well as money rotation or economic growth, you say that. However, not all the new industries and are hyped in the media will fulfill investors' expectation. Investment is a very core area, and it is also as a core part of any industry. And sometimes the fastest growing industries comes as a surprise to many. Okay. Like first, these days we are talking about the battery industry. Decline in battery prices supports electrical vehicles and energy storage markets. Now you see across the world, battery-based vehicles are coming like anything. India or Tesla is a very good example for that. Almost all the vehicle industry directly comes into it, jump it like anything. Since 2010, there has been a decline of more than 70% in lithium battery prices. The reduction in battery cost is driven by the improvements in battery technologies, economic of scale, competitions, and other factors. This downward trend is expected to continue and stabilize on reaching the maximization of industry. You see how it will maximize battery industry. So many top-notch battery industries are in the market. In USA, 20 giga-age battery industry is going to start. They were expecting by 2026, they were exporting it across the world. It's a huge development in battery industry. As well as reduction in cost from economics of scale and improvements in technology. We see it across everywhere. Because you see battery is using in every home these days. As well as many low-cost battery production facilities are expected, which will further help in driving prices down. By 2020 or 2022, it's 2 years gap, prices are expected to hover around 150 to 160 USD per kilowatt kind of thing, from the current 250 to 280 USD per kilowatt. And it is increasing now in 22 after March. It's a huge change in that industry comes. Like you say that that impact is around 7 to 10% completely. Right? The above trend will reduce electric vehicle cost and paves the pathway for the transition of IC engine vehicle to electric vehicles. In addition to this, the policy supports and changes in consumer behavior. You see, all very common example for hand-riding rickshaws that will convert it directly to e-rickshaws. It's a very common example to all of us. The consumer behavior are expected to accelerate the adoption of it. However, widespread adoption of electric vehicles is expected to commence once the party is reached in terms of both price and features, as well as its availability for the consumers. The decline, you say that in this industry, the decline in battery prices is making battery storage more commercially viable. This will to lead the growing integration of renewables with storage options, which will transform the electricity market structure completely. You say that this storage system makes a very strong impact on this alternate energy industry. You see, every houses these days we have inverters. It's a very common example to all of us. Second industry, we are talking about a plant-based protein offer replacement for meat. Meat industry is one of the largest industry in the world, in which we kill n numbers of innocent animals. For the betterment of the world and proper ecosystem or ecology maintenance, this industry just come out that plant-based protein we developed. Very common examples these days is soya-based. The growing concern for heart and cholesterol issues globally lead to a cut in the intake of burgers due to high fat and carbohydrate contents. With changing consumer preferences and increasing health consciousness, companies are focusing on high technology research and innovation for new products development. That's why it's a necessity of the era that this industry will come out with a new technology, and in place of animals, we have to use some different part of it. Okay. So it is one of the growing industry which is coming out. One such attempts in meat replacement is the launch of vegan burger, which provide necessary nutrition through plant-based ingredients such as pea protein and soya proteins. Impossible Food and Beyond Burgers are a few of those companies that have specialized plant-based protein burgers without compromising on the sensory attributes. So many companies, NGOs are working behind it. PETA is one of the largest organizations throughout the world who work to save the animals. So this industry works like anything in the future, the next 10 to 20, 50 years. It is working like anything. The pea protein burger that tastes similar to red meat in the right move by companies to gain competitive advantages over existing players. Key players tends to incorporate coconut oil and potato proteins in burgers to attain the firm texture of meat. However, their taste and texture are very much different from meat, which is challenging for these companies. This sector or this segment, when you're talking about, it is one of the leading industry in the world is going on. Third, the most important segment is security and safety of superhead smart home evolution. It's a very new concept that was established in the USA around 2012-13 and implemented by 2015. With more than 25 million smart homes in the entirety of United States till 2017. And that's a huge number is going on by this year. The connected homes market is expected to witness substantial growth over the next 5 years that will extend to 2027 across the globe. Researchers has identified the 5 key segments that are redefining consumers' interest towards integrated connected devices and eventually the smart home concept. That concept is moving across the world like anything. It's a very hardcore technological systems and industry I'm talking about, and it's a new generation, new era technologies which is coming up. Security and safety have emerged as the most prominent factors these days for everybody. which have prompted consumers to opt for connected devices. Like your home is connected with your mobile completely. You can check it out what is going on with your home. Okay. Within the residential sector is the major market. Smoke detectors, remote video surveillance systems, and connected locks are among the most frequent purchased connected device being integrated within the smart home. However, the potential threat of infiltration within the home ecosystem has limited their adoption in developing market. So this industry is one of the emerging industry, and it will float like anything across the world. In Japan, in complete Europe, a certain part of Russia, India also of this kind of technology, and the smart home concept is going on in certain metro cities already. Security is the most important aspect that influences consumers' preference in the smart home industry. And this leads to security emerging as a paradox for home automation vendors. Innovation and research in the field are expected to be directed towards safeguarding the sanctity of contents. You see, with your laptop or with your mobile, you want that your data must be saved every time. So that is the concern with everybody with your home also, especially parents. That whole house, this smart house, which is fully controlled by these devices, as consumers are subject to massive resource and monetary losses in case of unauthorized access. That is one of the major concerns with smart homes. Fourth one is hydroponics, the next generation farming approach. What we are talking about, the organic farming or new concepts of farming is coming. Technical farming, the word, especially the technical farming we use, and in scientific way it describes in hydroponics. Changing climates and weather patterns. We are very much worried about the weather condition, the climatic conditions across the world. And according to the farming approaches, this will disturb anytime. Means if rainy season is not there, if rain comes, then all your farmings will be destroyed. So this hydroponics concepts will come. Changing climate and weather patterns, little to no green space in urban areas, along with mass drought and poor food security in developed countries like in USA, in Germany, like these top-notch countries of the world, as well as in developing nations, are some serious emerging problems. As farmers are striving to feed the world with limited natural resources. We know it very well. Full world is completely dependent on farmers. For that, this kind of technology will come out. It is a technology that seems to be the savior of the last resort. This is the slogan we can put it. One of the latest trending addition to the list of technological innovation is agriculture, is definitely hydroponics and aquaponics system that have been gaining momentum and immense popularity in recent years. From growing plants in tents under lights of sourcing the nutrients from fish excreta, new age startups are disrupting agriculture as their newer technology trends emerge. This technology will completely change the agriculture system like anything throughout the world. There are various types of hydroponic systems, but they all are essentially work by pumping just the appropriate quality of nutrients and water directly to the roots of the plants. Hydroponics crops production offers visual improvement in quality and yields, saving on agrochemicals. That is one of the major concerns these days. People are moving towards organic farming like anything, and enhanced productive methods of growth. Controlled environments with optimized condition is like anything, and less water-based makes it an ideal solution for drought-borne areas. As the industry evolves, the new techniques are being developed. Hydroponics farming will be seen as an optimal choice to sustain a large proportion of the world's population and to allow third world countries to feed their own people. That is one of the major concern for all across world farmers, because everybody needs food and we are completely dependent on farmers. Fifth main topic is mHealth apps help transform the future healthcare. Over the last few years, information technology has successfully penetrated the healthcare space. In this era of wireless medicine, developing focused apps to cater to physicians and patients is the need of the hour. Recently, LifeScan, One Touch, VarioFlex blood glucose meter, we say it in pandemic situation very well, now enables the patient to share data with the physicians for informed care with the help of Qualcomm Life's medical grade 2net solutions, we called it. Patients and providers are using different mobile health technology that includes mobile health apps, patients portals, and telemedicine. It's a very new concept, telemedicine, for improving the medical care of patients and administrative tasks. Mobile health is the part of e-health, which uses technology such as computer and mobile app for patients monitoring. Currently, there are over 60,000 mHealth apps that are creating across the world with new possibilities for physicians and patients for managing and tracking of health informations. It's a very innovative thing, and in near future, in next 5 to 10 years, you see everybody is dependent on it completely. The major driving forces for the mHealth health is the fast adoption of smartphones in the healthcare industry. This would not be possible without the advancement of 3G and 4G networks. Without that, it is not possible, because these things works completely what kind of mobile network technologies you have. Progressively, connectivity technologies and solutions available in the market. The common health mobile app are medical apps, healthcare and fitness app, women's health apps, medical management apps, and personal health record apps. Certain examples of mHealth apps are Weight Watcher Mobile, Lucid, and First Aids. It's very common these days. Almost everybody who have little concern with healthcare, so you easily found out these apps in their devices. mHealth is the natural evolution of healthcare, as it is creating new opportunities from which many patients' interactions will be conducted in the future. We see robotic technology that is already immersed in the operations in many countries. So through the integration of mHealth, the physicians can access the health of the patient and can improve it from a vital role. These are the 5 area. You say that it's an emerging area, and it's a world where so many things is developing, and it's an era new entrepreneurs, new industries will come. And for the freshers, for new generations, for the new entrepreneurs, it's a very good area, very innovative area, untouched area, you say that. And all this comes with a very innovative, dynamic scientists that come out with all these technologies, or these 5 major industries. They are the 5 top industries of the world in next 10 to 15 years. Thank you to all of you. If you have any query, you can ask me over here, or you can mail me also anytime.
Thank you, Dr. Akhilesh. That was indeed very, very empowering. Very well, you have spoken about how innovation is taking a newer shape and how right from maximizing battery industry to consumer behavior, change in consumer behavior, plant-based protein, which is the major replacement for meat these days, and smart home, new generation farming, healthcare app. I don't think there is any area of innovation that you have not touched upon. So thank you so much. It was indeed very, very enlightening. And I think each one of us who is there right now and who is watching us through Facebook, they have got to learn so much. So thank you once again. And with this, we move ahead with our next chief guest. That is none other than Melissa Esposito from Italy. She's a passionate educationist and an international speaker. So Melissa, now this digital stage is all yours and we are all ears to listen to you.
Okay, good evening, good afternoon, good day. Good morning, everybody. I want to share my screen. This is my presentation. Okay, let's begin. 2030 Agenda, Goal 9, Innovation, Infrastructure, and Sustainable Business. Investments in infrastructure, transport, irrigation, energy and information and communication technologies are crucial investments to achieve sustainable development and for reach the capacities of communities in many countries. It has long been recognized that productivity and income growth, as well as better outcomes in health and education, infrastructure investments, inclusive and sustainable industrial development is the first source of income generation. It allows a rapid and sustained increase in people's living standards and provides technological solutions for an industrialization that respects the environment. Without technology and innovation, there will be no industrialization, and without industrialization, there will be no development. Facts and figures. Roads, information, communication technologies, sanitation, electricity, and water are still scarce in many developing countries. About 2.6 billion people in developing countries face impediments to continuous access to electricity. 2.5 billion people in the world have no access to health services, and a lot are in Africa, no access to water. 1 billion people are not reliable for services. The quality of an infrastructure is linked to the achievement of social, economic, and political objectives. Inadequate infrastructures prevent access to markets, jobs, information and training, creating strong barriers to economic activities. Undeveloped infrastructure limits access to healthcare and education. For many African countries, especially low-income ones, existing infrastructure restrictions inhibit business productivity by around 40%. The manufacturing industry is a major source of employment, working around 470 million jobs worldwide. The job multiplier effects of industrializations has a positive impact on society. Small and medium-sized enterprises active in the manufacturing and processing sector are the most decisive players in the early stages of industrialization and typically create the largest number of jobs. They make up over 90% of companies worldwide and are responsible for around 50–60% of jobs. In the countries for which data are available, the number of people employed in the renewable energy sector is currently around 2 million, given the growing interest in the alternative energies. The highest level of employment expected in the renewable sector is around 20 million jobs by 2030. The least developed countries have immense industrialization potential with regards to the food industry, food and drink, the textile and the clothing industry, with the good prospects for sustaining the job generation and greater productivity. Middle-income countries can benefit from entering the basic industries and wrought metal sector, which offer a wide range of products in response to rapidly growing international demand. In developing countries, nearly 30% of agricultural production is processed. 98% of them are processed in high-income countries. This suggests great opportunities for developing countries in the agri-food industry. Goal 9 of the 2030 agenda concerns three essential elements for the development of a country, different but closely related: innovation, infrastructure, and internet. Infrastructure networks from transports, car, trains, airplanes, to water and energy networks, to information and communication networks, internet, telephony, radio, TV, and the basis of socio-economic growth. Their development and their ability to adapt to change play an essential role, in particular for the business and industrial production sector, which is called upon to update itself with increasingly efficient and sustainable innovative technologies, capable of improving living conditions while safeguarding the environment. Looking at the world from this perspective, the data is not at all comforting. The basic sanitation network is not accessible to 2 billion people. In some African countries, the lack of infrastructure reduces the productivity of companies by 40%. 2.6 billion people in developing countries do not enjoy the constant supply of electricity. Over 4 billion people still do not have access to the internet, mostly obviously in developing countries. The development of advanced technologies has increased in recent years around the world. The companies that use this type of resources have gone from 40% in 2000 to 45% in 2016. A constant progress, which however involves great regional differences. In East and Southeast Asia, Europe and North America, nearly half of the market value comes from high-tech sectors. On the other hand, in the sub-Saharan Africa, this index corresponds to the only 15%, as you can see in this graph that I show you. Great global progress was also recorded in investment in research, from 1.50% of GDP in 2000 to 1.68% in 2016. Even in this case, however, there are profound differences between the areas of the planet. In Europe and North America, 21% is invested in research, compared to 0.42% and in sub-Saharan Africa and West Asia, as you can see in this graph. Today, about digital chess. Today, there is hardly a corner of the planet that is not covered by the telephone network. In 2018, 96% of the world's population lived within a range of a mobile signal, and 90% of people could access the internet. However, not all people are in the position to exploit these resources. Network access costs remain too high for many, especially the most disadvantaged. Today, a large part of the world population uses the internet, but with very low rates in less developed countries, about 20% of the total, as you can see here. These data show that the global situation is very unbalanced. In developing countries, the lack of infrastructures, electricity, water, transport, communication networks limits access to markets and the possibility of training, reduces jobs and prevents the growth of small and medium-sized enterprises, important in the early stages of industrializations. In these countries, less than a third of local agricultural productions is processed, while in high-income countries it reaches 90–80%. In poor countries, there would therefore be ample space for the build of local agri-food industries. An example of global differences is basic transport infrastructure, the total length in kilometers of the national rail network, as you can see here. Innovation, what to do for innovation? Sustainable entrepreneurship together with the technological innovation can trigger positive economic dynamics which generate employment and income. For example, they can facilitate trade and commercial activities globally and allow for the efficient use of resources. In 2017, the UN report, Fast Forward Progress, leveraging tech to achieve the global goals, was presented. This document, still very current, argues that if everyone had access to the internet, the 17 goals of the 2030 agenda could be reached sooner. The report established 5 principles to be taken in. First, nobody stays offline. ICT, information and communication technologies must be available to everyone. What would you do if you didn't have access to network resources, news, education, banking, entertainment? Secondly, ICT is an accelerator for innovation and change. The technological revolution is underway, and a network of sensors, database, robots, drones, and artificial intelligence are changing our world and can bring well-being to anyone. Third, people first. For many migrants and refugees, the internet is the only way to communicate with the loved ones, look for work, keep up to date. Fourth, no to isolation. Customized products and e-commerce are expanding the market, reducing commercial costs and offering new training and employment opportunities everywhere. And at the end, yes, to new innovative partnership. The international community has a responsibility to promote collaboration toward widening the gaps. No one should be left behind. Can data save lives? The United Nations Development Programme has initiated projects in developing countries to improve infrastructure and foster development with the support of technology. An example, in the use of computer equipment against malaria in Guinea-Bissau, in this country where malaria is the leading cause of death of pregnant women and children under the age of 5, a technological initiative has created. The prerequisite to combat the spread of malaria by saving lives. Thanks to the provision of tablets and smartphones and dedicated software, hospitals are able to monitor suspected causes and digitize their data by sharing them with the research centers and health facilities in the country. In this way, the prevention of treatment interventions are established with great precision. The introduction of new digital reporting system contributed to a 16% reduction in the number of malaria-related deaths between 2017 and 2028. The use of this technology permits the national government's ability to map, track, prevent, and treat malaria outbreaks in real time. The goals, the 2030 agenda has divided this goal, goal 9, in 8 targets, which in addition to widening access to global infrastructure networks to all developing countries, aim to raise the technological level and encourage the birth of new businesses. I listened them all here. The first, for example, is 9.1 one, develop quality, reliable, sustainable, and resilient infrastructures with particular attention to fair and affordable access for all. And so on. You can read it all here. Focus. Agenda and artificial intelligence. Thinking the artificial intelligence, AI, can help achieve the goals of the 2030 agenda is not an utopia. The McKinsey Global Institute, an economic research institute, has identified about 160 social and environmental risk situations inherent in various ways to the 17 goals of the 2030 agenda, in which the use of the AI can be of fundamental help. In particular, AI intervenes in the objectives concerning health. A few examples: to prevent diabetes, people at risk could be helped by a portable AI device capable of detecting the first signs of a disease throughout the detection and processing of heart rate data. Or artificial intelligence could analyze the images of a smartphone to distinguish between a benign skin from a melanoma, thus helping in the diagnosis those who do not have access to a dermatologic visit. Certainly, AI will not solve all of humanity's problems, but it's responsible and not just commercial use has a great potential to address local and planetary emergencies in an innovative and effective way. As you can see, these are the areas of use of AI by the McKinsey Global Institute in relation to the areas of interventions of the 2030 agenda. The road is right, but still long. According to the SDG 2019 report on Goal 9, there are signs of improvement in the field of innovation. The indicators relating the use of internet, the rate of researchers, the share of goods transported by rail, the digitalization of the public administration have increased. However, there is a lack of integrated and long-term interventions of digital infrastructures, and there is a lack of support for a coherent economic policy committed to the implementation of the 2030 agenda. Investments in research also paints an ambiguous picture. The report on research and development, for example, in Italy, from 2017 to 2019, signals a positive trend. Overall investment in research and development have increased by 2.7% in the last 2 years, reaching 24 billion euros. But these figures also show that in Italy, people continue to spend too little in innovation, less than in France or in Germany. For an economically advanced country like ours, investing in innovation is a fundamental driver for facing the challenge of growth. And these are the trend of the indicator for innovation, infrastructure, and sustainable businesses developed by SDG for Italy in this graph, as you can see. What can we do? Keep us informed by following the local and international news on the available media, TV, web, magazines, newspapers. Take the initiative. What innovations would we like our city to use for its citizens? With the inhabitants, you can think of ways and tools to address your requests to your administration. Consciously use technological tools. Do not use them only for entertainment and study, but discover resources that can help you live better in your environment and your community. Knowing the rules of digital privacy in the world of innovation, care must be taken to protect one's right and not one goes to others. And at the end of my speech, I want to conclude with this quote of a famous writer in all over the world, Dan Brown. He told, "It is passion and curiosity that drive innovation." I want to thank you all and for the great opportunity to be a speaker in this important event. And if you have some question, this is my email and this is my phone number. And I thank you again.
Thank you, Melissa. That was really nice. And you ended it so well. It is passion and curiosity that takes you forward. And I think these are the key ingredients for any innovation. And as rightly said by said by you also, and it is there in the agenda for 2030 for a sustainable development goal that leave no one behind. And that is how you presented your entire PPT, especially the slide which says fast forward progress and leveraging tech to achieve the global goals. That was really commendable because you have tried to bring everything in one slide, very well presented. Thank you so much for enlightening all of us with the knowledge and how innovation is changing the world and the kind of job opportunities that will be there for future. Thank you so much.
Again, I am with you.
Thank you. And moving ahead now, may I take the opportunity to invite the next eminent, the chief guest for today, none other than Dr. Manoj Sehgal, a TEDx speaker, gold medalist, trained more than 1 lakh students for competitive examination. And who else can tell us much better about innovation than the one who is dealing with the young generation? So, Dr. Sehgal, the virtual stage is all yours.
Good evening, namaskar, and thank you so much, Dr. Rajarao, to have me on this platform with such eminent personalities. I think there are a lot of being spoken already by a lot of the respective chief guests. So I would like to add only a few points because most of them have been already covered. So it will be more of a repetition from my end. When we talk about the goal 9, yes, there has been talk of infrastructure and there has been talk of changes. There has been some part of it that we may not be able to complete the goal by 2030, which looks more likelihood. It's very difficult that we'll be able to do that. But I'm looking from the perspective from our country, India. There have been radical changes. If you're looking at a couple of things, which is telecom, we are doing extremely well. In fact, we are the one of the fortunate ones who are actually advancing very well and now coming in the 5G generation. Infrastructure, thanks to the Union Cabinet Minister paying more attention, we have now one of the finest infrastructure. We have now coppers going to even tier 2 and tier 3 cities, which has been a wonderful job. Right now, the Mumbai-Delhi road has been on the verge of completion, and within a couple of months, we might hear the good news of the direct corridor coming in. There have been good changes. Couple of changes which I still feel the government needs to do a lot is invest a lot in terms of energy part. Yes, we've been talking of EV coming to India and encouraging it, but the encouragement has only from one end. We are asking a lot of investors to invest in EV, but from a government perspective, they haven't done much. I would be much happy if they give some incentives to the companies which are building these EVs in terms of tax structure or in terms of incentives. So something that can be done. Incubators, yes, we are doing well. We have got a lot of startups, but most of the startups are in the IT sector. We haven't seen a lot of startups in the green environment part. So this is where I think there has to be a sustained part from the government to work on it. Other than that, as a country of us, we will have definitely some issues with the neighboring countries of us. So I don't think that is going to happen very easily when we're dealing with difficult neighbors, what we have on all the 4 sides. That is a part of concern, and I think this will be still there for a couple of months and years. But rest, I'm very happy with what is happening in the intra part. So if you look at the fact that the PM also provokes that be vocal and we go global, we are doing extremely well there. So if you're looking at state like Maharashtra, I'm just talking of a city like Aurangabad. What they have done well is they are now copying the Singapore way of reinvesting and reharvesting on the water part. So it's a small growth, but there is having a growth coming in. Meghalaya is doing extremely well. So in terms of infrastructure, in terms of all the environment part which we're looking at. So I'm very hopeful. I'm not absolutely cynical about the fact that the growth will not happen and will not be able to do it. It's a long way process. It has from the both end, but I'm confident this is really happening. So I thank Dr. Rajarao once again for having me on the stage, and thanks to my 2 lovely moderators, Dr. Aruna and Dr. Seema. Glad to be on the same platform as yours. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Manoj. It was amazing listening to your wonderful words, which is related to our youth and the SDG goals. Thank you so much. And now I call upon our next chief guest. Give me a minute. I'm sorry. our next chief guest, who is Miss Maria Alicia McDonaldo, who will take over the virtual stage for her speech. Thank you.
Thank you. And hello from Argentina. It's morning here. And I want to thank especially Visual Humanity United Nations Royal Council and Dr. Raja Rao for this invitation. I've heard many wonderful speeches, so I'll try to shorten mine. And the idea is that I am an educationist, and that is why I'm going to speak about Goal 9 from this perspective, yes? The goal states, build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. And this pandemic has spotted the fact that we didn't have infrastructure because schools lacked learning management systems and places where to keep the students safe. It also found that many students were left aside because they didn't have connectivity, and teachers had to be innovative in order to overcome all these difficulties. According to UNESCO document, Issues and Trends in Education for Sustainable Development, and I'm going to quote here, education for sustainable development empowers learners to take informed decisions and responsible actions for environmental integrity, economic viability, and a just society for present and future generations while respecting cultural diversity. It promotes holistic and transformational education, and this type of education addresses learning content and outcomes, innovative pedagogy, and learning by doing, and uses a whole school approach to engage communities in achieving sustainable change. I totally agree with Dr. TPS in the fact that the 17 goals are interconnected, and they all address the healthy and positive development of individual and their contexts. But since I am a passionate teacher, I also believe in individual actions as a positive way in which we can change the world. I believe that our actions can be like drops in the ocean that ripple, and modifying our context, we can also make these changes expand from the classroom to the school in general, from the school to families, and from families to their contexts. And so I believe that we can make necessary changes that will enable our students to become the leaders that the world needs for improving living conditions for everybody. And for many years, the focus of global development on education was the provision of education for all, and that is good. But based on the principle that education was just teaching to read and write and some basic math. And education is much more than that. We need to help our students to develop for me, wrongly called soft skills, which are the ones which enable them to live in the world and profit from all the possibilities they have at hand. We need to work on a holistic and transformational education that addresses learners' content and outcomes, and a pedagogy of the learning environment. We need to take from action-oriented transformative pedagogy into a self-directed learning, participation and collaboration, problem orientation, and inter and transdisciplinarity, as well as the linking of formal and informal learning. And such pedagogical approaches are essential for the development of competencies vital for promoting sustainable development. Individuals need to learn how to understand the complex world in which they live and how to deal with uncertainties, trade-offs, risks, and the high velocities of societal and global change. And of course, I could go on speaking quite a lot about the theory, but I believe that the most important element here is that I should give a proposal, because if not, we theorize and very little is achieved from this presentation. And in my perspective, there is no doubt that we need to include contents associated to our context needs in the curriculum. We need content because they give us the opportunity for assessing in a summative way, which is a demand of most educational systems. But we should try to find the contents in our contexts so that we make the learning more meaningful and significant for our students. And these contexts should be discussed with authorities of the community or could be found in some governmental reports. We need to enhance the development of the so-called soft skills, namely critical and creative thinking, digital literacy skills, communication and collaboration skills, and individual and social responsibility. These skills will enable students to take informed decisions, considering the effect that their decision would have on the society they belong to. We teachers have to be prepared as well. We should develop a positive mindset to discuss different options prepared by students and to provide positive feedback. This does not mean to accept all students' proposals, but it means we should provide encouraging feedback for students to go on risking their own options instead of repeating already established ideas. If they do so, they are likely to find varied answers to some problems we can present them with. In turn, this would enhance students' creativity and, as a consequence, possible innovative ideas to develop. My proposal is to work on a problem-based learning perspective. Students will develop digital literacy skills when they do research on the problem presented. Critical thinking when they discuss the possible solutions. This discussion will also help students to develop communication and collaboration skills. And at the same time, it will enhance the development of creative thinking skills when they try to find a solution, and individual and social responsibility when they elaborate on the possible effects of their proposal. Summarizing, students will be able to develop the skills required to build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation from very young age, because they should start at very early stages of schooling. If they can develop this positive mindset, they will be the successful leaders the world needs. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Maria. As an educationist, I can completely relate to the entire presentation that you made, and it was so much necessary. And all the 21st century skills that you put across that the students to be imbibed in them, and how the SDG goals can be put into an individual and positive actions. Very much well said. I have the pleasure listening to you. Thank you so much, Ms. Maria. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, now today, this evening, we move on to the next section of today's event with our keynote speakers section.
And with this, I take again a lot of pride and honor to invite our first keynote speaker, Dr. Diya Chaudhary. Dr. Diya Chaudhary is CEO of Team Diya Global Private Limited. Dr. Chaudhary, we would like you to take over this virtual stage. She hasn't. No, we will move ahead. We will move ahead. And the second keynote speaker for today's evening is Professor Hardeep Singh, an academician, researcher, and an author. Professor Singh, this virtual stage is all yours. I think I did see Professor Singh. Yes, sir.
Hello, good evening, everybody. I would just like to share my screen.
Sure, we will make you the co-host.
My screen is visible to everybody?
No, it is not. We'll have to make you co-host.
Okay, right.
Yes, now you can share the screen.
Okay. I think it is visible to everybody.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Greetings from Professor Hardeep Singh from Amritsar, the city of Golden Temple. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Raja Rao to invite me as a keynote speaker on this World Peace Summit 2022 Industry, Innovation and Infrastructure. My today's title of talk is Innovation and Entrepreneurship for Sustainability. Coming to the point, starting with innovation. What is innovation? Innovation is the practical implementation of ideas into introduction of new goods or services or improvement in offering goods or services. From the research, we have identified 8 essential elements of innovation: success, aspire, choose, discover, evolve, accelerate, scale, extend, and mobilize. There is no proven formula for the innovation success, but arguments are always there in the research that there is a strong correlation between these essential elements and the success. Coming to the next point, what is success? That anything we do, there should be a success in that activity, in that work. Only that work is beneficial for the community, for the nation, and for the society. So we are talking about innovation. In order to be successful, and innovation must satisfy a customer need. Customer is the only thing whom you have to satisfy. If you are not able to satisfy the customer, your activity, your service, your innovation, your product, it is of no use. So you have to, first thing is, you have to satisfy the customer. Innovations often don't bring the desired success because they don't bring real benefits to the customer or are aimed at the wrong target group. So the main thing is we have to satisfy the customer. When you are able to satisfy the customer, only your innovation that is successful and you are going on the right track. Then coming to the entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, by contrast, is applying the innovation to bring the dreams and ideas into reality. It is a social innovation which lets people do what they couldn't do previously. Entrepreneurs take advantage of opportunities to make money on innovation They build businesses and champion the innovations forward. Next coming that entrepreneurship is there. There are a lot of entrepreneurs, but what is the need to be more successful, to be more unique, that your entrepreneurship, this should be related with innovation. It should be an innovative entrepreneurship. That likewise, you can see any business, anything, that there are a lot of brands coming in that way, lot of other entrepreneurs coming in that way, but you should be a innovative entrepreneur in your business, in your product. There should be something unique that is giving something extra, something unique to the society and fulfilling the society needs that the other products are lacking, or for that the customers are looking for that innovation for that product. So innovative entrepreneurship is the practice of establishing or creating new business ideas intending to generate profit, assist their community, and accomplish company goals. Innovative entrepreneurs develop business models to identify, to meet the needs of an organization, of a customer, and improve their competitiveness in the market. So it should be on new ideas, not on the existing ideas. So there should be an innovation in your entrepreneurship. Your entrepreneurship should be an innovative entrepreneurship, like the research that is not society oriented, the research that cannot give a solution to an existing problem in the society, that research is of no use. Similarly, entrepreneurship, the idea, the product that you are bringing to the market, bringing to the society, bringing for the community, that should be an innovative. It should have something new, and it should be fulfilling the needs, the desires of the customers, of the consumers, of the society, and of the nation. Then what comes the difference between innovation and entrepreneurship? The key difference between innovation and entrepreneurship is that the innovation means introducing something new. This can be an idea, product, model, or a service. On the other hand, making a great idea into a business opportunity is entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship always begins with an innovation. When entrepreneurship is attached, is linked to an innovation, and your entrepreneurship is innovative entrepreneurship, becomes a grand success and gives a great to the society, to the community. Next, promoting entrepreneurship and startups will ensure an unprecedented wave of long-deserved growth, prosperity, and well-being that can serve the interests of the rest of the world, as well as the spirit of New India. Creating a nation of job creators, not just job seekers, is important for sustainable growth. Job is the main problem of the society. Unemployment is the main problem of the society. So a student does BTech, he does his graduation from a university, from a college, and comes out of the college or university for a good job with a good salary. So rather than becoming a job seeker, he should, an spark of entrepreneurship should be put into his mind so that he may become a job giver, job creator. He may give to the job of the other people also. This is the main reason of the brain drain, that our young minds, our young scholars are going to other countries and doing work for the other countries rather than to do it for our India, for our nation, make our nation pride. But they are moving out of India. Why? Because of unemployment. And we teachers, we people are unable to make a spark in those students of entrepreneurship to make them a great scientists, great innovators, great business persons, great business tycoons, and make India pride. So creating a nation of job creators and not job seekers is important for sustainable growth. And central to this is the need for extensive collaboration between corporate industry, academia, and governments at the rural, district, state, and central levels. So coming next, we are seeing these great personalities. These all are Indians, and all have India has generated these great personalities. India over centuries has never had a dearth of great thinkers, scientists, engineers, doctors, innovators, philosophers, and artists. Indian intellectual, engineering, artists' capabilities with some of the greatest scientists, mathematicians, and engineers in the world, like our former president, the great personality, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, S. Ramanujan, Shri C.V. Raman, and Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, Kalpana Chawla, the father of wireless communication, Dr. Jagdish Chandra Bose, all are coming from various regions of India. Our philosophy, culture, fine arts, temples, and sculptures also bear testimony of the same. So my motto of this slide is that India is a land of great personalities. We cannot say that India is lacking in this, India is lacking in nothing. Only lacking is that we are unable to spark this entrepreneurship in the mind of young students, young collegiates, young university students. We have to put all this in the mind of the students, and we will be able to again generate such type of great personalities. Then it comes, where are we lacking? However, what has been lacking is holistic innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystem that stimulates, enables, and supports inspiration, imagination, and innovation in our schools, universities, industries across the length and breadth of the nation. That is why our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, he has done a great job by introducing this new education policy, NEP 2020. The main motto of this is to make the spark of research and innovation in the young minds even from the school level. We have seen that students come up to postgraduate level. They are coming to MTech, and after MTech, they are saying, what is their research paper? Because the research idea has not been sparked in their mind from the starting. So our Honorable Prime Minister has done a very good job, and he has introduced this NEP 2020, and we are even there is an organization named Dr. Kalam International Foundation that is doing a great job, that is organizing a youth international conference for the school students from class 6th onwards. So we have to do all this from the school level. Whenever Indians go abroad, they excel and reach the highest level of eminence and achievements, be it in technology, business, academia, and even governments. That is, I am saying, that is brain drain. They can do in India also. Only the thing that is needed to make the spark of research and innovation and entrepreneurship in those young minds, in those brilliant minds. Many Indians are leading innovations in some of the largest and most innovative technical, medical, financial companies of the world, including Google, Microsoft, IBM, Adobe, and many more. Access to an innovative ecosystem in these developed countries has allowed many Indians to realize their aspirations, convert their dreams into reality, and help them blossom to their full creative potential. So my main motto of this slide is to stop the brain drain and to do all this in our country for our children, for our young minds, to spark research and innovation minds, so that India can again become a great and generate great personalities, like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Dr. Jagdish Chandra Bose, and Dr. C.V. Raman, and Dr. Kalpana Chawla. Revolutionary technological and advancements are indeed transforming the world, giving rise to new technology and business innovations at a dizzying pace. Electronic miniaturizations has enabled a computer the size of a room to fit to our pocket, aided by the convergence of computing, storage, and communications at incredible lower cost. Robotics and AI, artificial intelligence are driving next generation productivity and automation. 3D printers are making real-time conceptualization, design, prototyping, and manufacturing at an SME level a reality. IoT or the Internet of Things are connecting sensor technologies to mobile and satellite technologies in every industry for enabling precision agriculture, healthcare, water cleansing and conservation, climate change controls, disaster prediction, and management of driverless cars and space shuttles. Big data and analytics and artificial intelligence are enabling complex decision making through advanced, easy to use tools. India is a country of billion people with thousands of challenges, which are also thousands of opportunities for innovative entrepreneurial startups to succeed with the possible global impact. Lastly, coming to the conclusion, seeking to achieve SDGs, Sustainable Development Goal is to do all this practically, not theoretical talks. We have to come out of these theoretical talks, theoretical summits. We have to implement it practically. Or when we will do it practically, then we will be able to make India a proud India, a great nation. India will again become a land of great scientists and thinkers. This will remove unemployability, brain drain, and many more problems of the society. Only that research and that idea and that activity is beneficial when you are doing a real service to the society. You have to do something for the society. So innovative entrepreneurship leads to sustainable development. Lastly, I would like to thank Dr. Raja Rao for inviting me as a keynote speaker at this wonderful platform. Thanks once again.
Great. Thank you so much, Professor Hardeep Singh, for your valuable words that related to the youth entrepreneurship and the sustainable development goals. And yes, let us move ahead. But here I would humbly request each keynote speakers and the panelists to value everybody's time so we can definitely, bring the outcome of understanding what is being spoken by each and every eminent personalities here. So I would request you to maintain the time, which would be good for all of us. Thank you so much. And next, I do call upon our next keynote speaker, Edion Joseph Keod, Certified Google Content Marketing Strategist, and he is here with us to share his thoughts on SDG 9. And the virtual stage is yours, Mr. Edion.
All right, it's a privilege to be in your midst. I want to appreciate all the participants for these World Peace Summits. I also want to appreciate the organizers of this program. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Here in Nigeria, this is the afternoon, and I count it a great privilege to be representing my country, Nigeria. The topic of my discussion is industrialization, innovation, and infrastructure, key drivers to nation's economy. I take that again, industrialization, innovation, and infrastructure, key drivers to nation's economy. There are three words used here, which I will want to explain before I dive deeply into my conversation with the audience. The first one is industrialization. Now, the question is, what is industrialization? Simply put, industrialization has to do with innovations. It is the process by which an economy is transformed from a primarily agricultural one to one based on manufacturing of goods. So when we talk about innovation, when we talk about infrastructure, when we talk about industry, now when we transform from one level of the economy to agricultural one, focused on manufacturing of goods, this is what we call industrialization. And what are the factors that can influence industrialization of any economy or of any nation? Some of them are natural resources. The natural resources of a country can either make or mar the progress or the economy of that country. So hence it becomes very important for every nation to focus on its natural resources, harnessing the potentials, harnessing the opportunities therein to develop the nation, to develop their country. Then we also talk about capital. Capital is also another good example of industrialization that if well harnessed, it can bring progress to any nation. Another example is workers. If workers are not given the needed attention, if their needs are not met, for example, their physical needs, their emotional needs, and even if their salaries are not well paid, it will surely have adverse effects on that nation. So it becomes very important that for industrialization to be properly harnessed, workers need to be taken care of. Their welfare becomes very important. It should be a priority to any nation. If they want peace, if they want unity, if they want to achieve optimal level of industrialization or progress, they need to take care of their workers. Then we talk about technology. Technology becomes very important. It revolves from time to time. It's not constant. And that will now take me to the next word used in this keynote address, and that is innovation. Now, innovation has to do with focusing on new technology to improve the welfare of any nation. It is important to the advancement of any nation. No nation can attain its objectives if innovation is not given a priority. So innovation is important to the advancement of the society as it revolves the kind of social problems, and it also enhances the society's capacity to act. So it becomes very important that every nation should focus on the following innovation that I'm going to emphasize in this presentation. The first one is economic growth. Why is economic growth important to the development of a nation as far as innovation is concerned? Technological innovation is considered, you will agree with me, as a major source of economic growth. And when we talk about economic growth in this context, economic growth refers to the increase in the inflation-adjusted market value of goods and services that are produced by an economy over a period of time. So we can conveniently say that economic growth is conventionally measured as the percent rate of increase in the real gross domestic improvement of any nation. In fact, it is said that innovation is responsible for up to 85% of all economic growth. Should I take that again? Innovation is responsible for up to 85% of all economic growth. Now, take that into your head, that for any nation to attain growth, to be referred to as developed nation, or in some other countries as developing nations, they need to take into cognizance the importance of innovation. One, there are generally two ways to increase the output of any economy to attain innovation. And what are these two ways that can help any country to attain economic growth as far as being innovative is concerned? The first one is increase the number of outputs that go to the productive process. Then the second one is come up with the new ways to get more outputs from the same number of inputs. Let me quickly take that again. That for any nation to attain a level of development, it is important they focus on these two ways that can improve the output of economy. One, they should increase the number of outputs that go to the productive process. They should come up with new ways to get more output from the same number of inputs. Now, that said, we also want to talk about the future job that innovation or innovativeness can help every nation to achieve. So what are these future jobs that innovation can help every nation to achieve? Technological advancements and increased productivity it definitely means changes for career today as well. So for any nation to achieve economic growth or innovation and provide future jobs for its citizens, especially the youths, they need to focus on the technological advancements. It becomes very important. Here in my country, Nigeria is driving towards building a robust framework and infrastructure to improve technology innovation for all Nigerians. And this is what the president of my country, Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, is working towards with all his ministers and every other persons that are working with him to make sure that we attain technological developments that will provide jobs for as many citizens and also the youths of the country. And I can tell you that Nigeria has created wealth and prosperity for its citizens through innovative ideas, through technological advancements. But Nigeria has a robust bustling fintech economy with over 200 fintech. There is a global attention that this has attracted. We have attracted global attention from China, from United States of America, from Germany, and from other neighboring countries such as South Africa, Russia, and also China, India inclusive. And you also agree with me that superpowers like China, they are already reaping the benefits of their technology innovation, their innovative policies that is improving technology. So Nigeria is not lagging behind in these aspects. It has created more jobs for Nigerians, and it's still creating jobs for Nigerians. So this is what I want to also bring to the fore in these summits, that Nigeria is doing fantastically well when it comes to bringing technological advancements to its citizens. And I want to give kudos to the president of my country, President Muhammadu Buhari, who is doing very well in this regard with all his ministers and those that are working with him. Innovativeness, when given proper attention, it increased the well-being of the nation about my country, Nigeria. In general, innovation and economic growth increases well-being because the living standards of people increases, it rises. And according to the Brookings Institute, the average life satisfaction is higher in countries with greater GDP per capita. And another research also has this to say that there is a link between innovation and the subjective well-being. So when innovation is given proper attention, it increases the well-being of a society by improving the living standards of its citizens. Another advantages of innovation, or why every country, every nation should focus on innovation, is that it reduced sickness, it reduced poverty and hunger. As already mentioned, developing countries like Nigeria depend on innovation as a new digital technologies and innovative solution, because it creates huge opportunities to fight sickness, poverty, and hunger in the poorest region of the country. Another advantage which every country should focus on is that focusing on innovation improves communication and education accessibility. You probably already knew that the World Wide Web celebrates its 30th anniversary, some years ago, and they've already seen a huge technological revolution during the past decades, and continue to do so in the future. In fact, according to the World Bank annual report in 2016, among the poorest 20% of the population, 7% out of the 10 households have a mobile phone. And what does that mean to every organization? It is a message to every nation, to every society, that more people now have mobile phones than the sanitation of clean water. And also, the mobile work population is expected to grow from around 98 million to more than 108 million by year 2023. So innovation in mobile technologies such as voice control and augmented reality are enabling workers in completely new ways. The technological innovation can also help rural areas thrive, and it can also help them to become more sustainable. Now, another advantage of innovation is that it contributes to environmental sustainability. It contributes to environmental sustainability. Now, sustainability and environmental issues, such as the climate change, they are challenges that require a lot of work and innovative solution now and also in the future. So the health suffers as consumerism spreads and puts consumption at the heart of modern economy. So it becomes very important that every nation should focus on environmental sustainability of its nation in order to improve the innovativeness of the country. Another advantage which innovativeness provides is that it provides a competitive advantage. Competitive advantage in this context, it means the necessary advancement in capabilities that provide an edge in comparison. So, sorry? Oh, okay, okay. Just a moment, please. I'll get back to you. Hello? I don't know if you can see me now. Is it better?
Yes, it is better. It was like this
sorry.
one. In between, I think something happened.
Oh, okay. Sorry for that. So I was trying to emphasize the competitive advantage of innovativeness that can contribute to the growth of any nation. Competitive advantage means necessary advancement in capabilities of a nation that provide an edge in comparisons to competitors of the industry. And what this helped to achieve is that it helped a nation to compete with other neighboring nations, to provide progress, to provide opportunities that can make the nation to move to its higher level of expectation. And innovativeness also increased productivity. The economic growth of a nation is driven by innovation and technological improvement. And this helped to reduce the cost of production, and it also enable higher outputs. So if we look at this from the perspective of an organization, for instance, different automation solutions decrease manual, repetitive work and release time for more important value-creating tasks. So improved productivity and efficiency makes work more meaningful, as less time needs to be spent on low-impact tasks. So the more time you are able to spend on tasks that have a direct impact on your business, such as the improving processes, solving problems, or having conversations with your customer, the more likely you are able to actually reduce costs. Now, this can also apply to any nation. For any nation to increase its productivity, it behoves on that nation to improve its efficiency by working on the, for example, the workers, the infrastructures should be improved upon so as to create increase in productivity. I will be drawing the curtain for this presentation by re-emphasizing what I mentioned earlier, that in my country, Nigeria, we are working assiduously with the president of my country, President Muhammadu Buhari, to drive a robust framework and infrastructure to improve technology innovation for all Nigerians. And these have been supported by the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy for Digital Nigeria and other policies that could ignite innovation activities and create wealth and prosperity for the citizens of Nigeria. And more importantly, I also want to emphasize that Nigeria has a bustling fintech economy with over 200 fintech. Global attention has been attracted, and there have been venture capital investment from countries such as China, such as South Africa, and we also have a neighboring country, Ghana, investing in so many innovative ideas that are being put in place by Nigerian government. So in conclusion, the main purpose of innovation, infrastructure, and industrialization is to improve people's lives. So it behoves every nation to take into cognizance industrialization, infrastructure, such as the roads, and also looking at electricity, and also paying attention to the concerns of its citizenry to improve its economy. When it comes to managing a business, innovation is key for making any kind of progress. In fact, the key driver of any nation involves three things, and that is industrialization, infrastructure, and innovation. So Small improvements eventually will lead to bigger and better ideas that may one day become revolutionary. And while this is being put in place by African countries and also from other continents, it also becomes very important that we should start looking at small improvements that can bring about innovativeness, industrialization, and improvements in other aspects of our economy. Often, getting started is the hardest part, as there are many ways to approach innovation, industrialization, and infrastructure. My suggestion is to simultaneously work on developing the personal skills of the citizens of the nation and also the business-related aspects. Every country should focus on or should start small and pick their focus, as it is impossible to achieve everything at once. You cannot achieve innovativeness, you cannot achieve industrialization, you cannot achieve infrastructure at the same time. So if you want to start with industrialization, you focused on also other area, infrastructure, and also innovativeness or innovation. If you want to start with innovation, I want to encourage you to do more research that can help you to be an enviable nation, an enviable country that other nations will be proud of. On these notes, I want to appreciate the organizers of this program for the privilege given to me to be on this platform. Thank you very much. I appreciate you from my country, Nigeria.
Thank you so much. That was so enlightening. And the beautiful part of your deliberation was, I mean, the love for your country was there in each and every word that you spoke. So beautifully, you spoke about how Nigeria is doing fantastically well and how your president and you appreciated your government so much that they are doing so well to ensure that, yes, 3 I's that you spoke about, industrialization, infrastructure, and innovation, all are taken care of so that your country becomes one of the kind of country that you're looking forward to. So thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for enlightening us with what your country is doing and how innovation is the key to succeed in any field that you wish to. Moving ahead, we have our next speaker, and he is Dr. L. Vijay Kumar. He's a researcher and a speaker of eminence. So may I request Dr. L. Vijay Kumar to kindly come forward and take this virtual stage. This stage is all yours, sir.
Okay, madam. Thank you, madam. I'm a very happy evening to everyone, and thank you for joining us in World Peace Summit 2022. It is an honor and a privilege for me to welcome you all on behalf of Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council to this occasions. To our eminent speakers and delegates who have come here, I bid you all very warm welcome. I am going to present the topic as in industry, innovation, and technology. So to build this resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization and foster innovations. So ISM, economic growth, social development, and climate action are heavily dependent on investment in infrastructure, sustainable industrial development, and technological progress. In the face of a rapidly changing global economic landscape and increasing inequalities, sustained growth must include industrialization that first of all makes opportunity accessible to all people, and second is supported by innovation and a resilient infrastructure. So what's the problem? Even before the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, global manufacturing, considered an engine of overall economic growth, has been steadily declining due to tariffs and trade tensions. The manufacturing decline caused by the pandemic has further caused serious impacts on the global economy. In addition, the airport industry, also an important driver of economic development, faced the steepest decline in its history in the first 5 months 2020, with a 51% drop in airline passengers due to the global lockdowns. Basic infrastructure like roads, information and communication technologies, sanitation, electrical power and water remains scarce in many developing countries. In 2019, some 87% of people in developing countries used the internet compared with just 19% in the least developed countries. So progress have been made. Investment in research and development globally, as well as financing for economic infrastructure in developing countries has increasing and impressive progress has been made in mobile connectivity with almost the entire world population, 97% living within reach of the mobile cellular signal. Why should I care? Inclusive and sustainable industrialization together with innovation and infrastructure can unleash dynamic and competitive economic force that generate employment and income. They play a key role in introducing and promoting new technologies, facilitating international trade and enabling the efficient use of resources. The growth of new industries means improvement in the standard of living for many of us. If industries pursue sustainability, this approach will have a positive effective on the environment. So the price is, what is the price of inaction? The price is cheap. Ending poverty would be more difficult given the industry's role as a core driver of the global development agenda to eradicate poverty and advance sustainable development. Additionally, failing to improve infrastructure and promote technological innovation could translate into poor healthcare, inadequate sanitation, and limited access to education. So, improve for the industry, innovation, and industry infrastructure. Establish standards and promote regulations that ensure company projects and initiatives are sustainably managed. Collaborate with NGOs and the public sector to help promote sustainable growth within developing countries. Think about how industries impact on your life and well-being, and use social media to push for policymakers to prioritize the sustainable development goals. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vijay Kumar. It was good listening to you and sharing the wonderful thoughts that you had regarding industry innovation and infrastructure. Thank you so much for your presence. And yes, we are coming up to the end of this particular event. And now I request Dr. Raja Rao Pagidipalli to go ahead and address the gathering for the vote of thanks.
Yes. Okay.
I'm so sorry about that. Was attending some sessions with Ukraine students, so I was not able to join you. I apologize for that, but I will definitely try to join in any of the sessions.
Thank you very much, brother. It is my responsibility to spread or to develop our organization like together, friendly in like a one family. It's my responsibility. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sorry, I could not be there yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Very good. Yeah.
Sir.
Thank you, sir, for inviting me. Really very much delighted to see everyone on the Zoom platform with great interest, really leaving their time and joining us is not a joke. Everyone are busy with their profession, with their personal works and all. So this shows that how much they are interested towards the peace and they're the peacemakers. So my hats off to all the eminent speakers who gathered here. I would like to thank from the bottom of my heart Dr. Shashikumar Garu and Dr. Akhilesh Garu and Melissa ma'am, Maria ma'am, Vijay Kumar Garu and Joseph sir and Hardeep Singh sir. In this way, all the eminent speakers who gathered here and given their inputs, insights, and also great solutions for every problem. Entrepreneurship, they have stressed a lot that is very important to empower youth especially to have self-sustainable development and self-sustainable life. That is very important. A sustainable life is important. So one should be entrepreneur so they can live comfortably as well as they can support thousands of people to have good employment and lead their life very peacefully, and they can support in this way the flourishment of the nation. So thank you very much for the great inputs and insights and for the innovative ideas and the solutions you have given us. I would like to appreciate especially Vincent sir, Srikanth Kalluka sir, every day really you're sparing your time and being with us, and your presence is giving us a great energy and a kind of boost up to us. Yes, we need such kind of eminent personality on our Zoom platform so that your presence, your august presence will give us a great energy and help us to move ahead and take up so many programs with your inspiration, with your presence. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us. And also I would like to appreciate Dr. Aruna ma'am and Dr. Seema Negi ma'am. It's really a wonderful time, the way you have coordinated and presented the session in a great way. You have taken the webinar, our summit to the next level. You have done a commendable job, ma'am. From the bottom of my heart, I would like to express my gratitude and thanks. As I asked immediately, Dr. Aruna ma'am, though she is very busy, she accepted, and Seema Negi ma'am also, in spite of having some throat infection also, madam accepted earlier, and she readily accepted to take up our summit to the next level with their communication skills and with their great knowledge and intellectual presence presentation. So thank you very much once again, ma'am, Dr. Aruna ma'am and Seema Negi ma'am, and also whoever joined us. Thank you very much for being with us and making this summit leading to a successful one. Thank you very much. Thank you once again.
Recording stopped.